Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Cindy here from CLB Craft Creations. And I feel like it's been forever since I did a video. I've actually been on vacation and just doing some stuff with the kids before school gets back in session. I actually have, this is our project for today, and I have made a video on this box a couple of weeks ago. It was using the, these are the boxes that I made. It was the Painted Petals Designer Series Paper note card box, or it's not a note card, but regular size card box. And we actually made this box. Someone had asked me for directions on how to use the scoreboard for it because they didn't have the trimmer. And I realized that I'd made the instructions a little difficult to follow, so I went ahead and found the right measurements using a scoreboard. And we actually made this box in my class this past weekend, and the ladies were asking if I could do a video on that. Sorry, my light just fell. So just my lights had just fallen and was not cooperating. Okay, so again, this box, the ladies from class this past weekend had asked if I would do a video on this one using the simpler instructions and the scoreboard. Although we did have a little bit of trouble with it, I did realize that my diagram was a little off. So this is, I will zoom out. This is the diagram that I have, and if you're interested in getting a copy of this, please just send me an email. I'd be happy to send a copy of it to you. But this is just kind of a visual of how you're going to score and you're going to cut, and we're going to go through that anyway. But for the ladies that were at class this past weekend, the score marks were off, and the cutting was supposed to be on this side, not on this side like we were what we were doing. So that's why there was a bit of confusion. So this is the correct diagram. Again, I'm going to scan this into a PDF and would be happy to send it to anyone. Ladies from class, you'll definitely get a copy of this as well. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we're going to use the Remarkable You stamp set, and we're going to use this big leaf image to stamp all over our paper. This is a beautiful set. We actually did a watercolor class this past weekend, and we used these images to watercolor with. So it was actually a lot of fun, and the cards were beautiful. So everyone did a fantastic job. Our piece of cardstock is measured at 8 by 11, so you're just going to cut off a ½ an inch on the side here. And I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I will have these score marks on the screen as well as on my blog if you're interested in those, but again, the diagram has them as well. So actually I take that back. We're going to stamp first. I'm sorry. We're going to stamp first, and we're going to use, like I said, that leaf image, and we're going to use the Wild Wasabi Ink. We bring in a scratch piece of paper here, just because I'm going to go off the page. Make sure to turn your stamp so you get a more random pattern. We've got the inks out. We're going to stamp the front with the image. So we'll just take, actually I'm going to punch it out first. And that is a 2 1/4 inch scallop. And we're just going to stamp. You don't need to ink up the whole thing. You're just going to stamp just enough to cover the scallop circle. Okay, we're done with that, and then we're going to stamp the thank you from the tin of cards set. I don't think I need to tell you that I love this set. I think I use it all the time. We're going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black. And then we're just going to stamp that right in the middle. Okay. And then that is all of our stamping. Now I can bring in the scoreboard and do our scoring. Okay, so on the 11-inch side, let's see if I can get this in here so you can see it. Again, the score marks will be on the screen as well as on my blog attached to this post. So 11-inch side, we're going to score at 3/4. Okay, 5 1/4, 6, and 10 1/2. And you can do this on your paper trimmer as well if you want to do that. I'm just going to reinforce these real quick. Okay, and now we're going to turn it. It doesn't really matter which way you turn it, if you turn it to the left or if you turn it to the right. It just will depend on how you're cutting, and we'll go through that in just a second. Okay, so I've done those 11-inch. I'm going to turn to the 8-inch. I turn to the left, and now we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. This is going to make the top flap of our box, and then 1 1/4, and then 7 1/4. Okay, that's all the scoring we need to do, so you can get that out of your way. Hold on to your bone folder because you're going to need to crease your edges. As stated in my diagram, we're going to remove, now this is the part where we got ourselves confused. It really didn't matter which side we were stamped on or which side we scored on. The point that you need to know or to make reference to is the smaller piece over here, which is the 1/2 inch side. This is a 3/4 inch side, this is a 1/2 inch side. This is the side you need to be doing your major cutting on. Okay, 1/2 inch side versus your 3/4 inch side, because this is going to be your where you put your adhesive. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this, 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 and this. Okay, oh, and so we're getting rid of all those squares. And then these yellow marks indicate where you're cutting. So if there's not a cut mark, then you're folding on those areas. And someone also had asked for adhesive, so we're going to actually put adhesive on this tab, and then we're going to put adhesive on this one here, but you could either put it on the reverse side or you could put it on here, but just make sure that this flap covers over top. So when we get to that, you'll see. Okay, so get my scissors out, and I'm going to just cut all the way across here, because we're removing those, on one of them, those top 2 pieces. Okay, and I'm going to cut down. I'm going to cut off this square, and then I'm going to cut all the way down to the second score mark from the top. So that's going to make our little tab. Okay, we're not going to touch those, and then I'm going to remove this little square here. Okay, and I need to then cut this piece down here because that makes our other tab for the top. The other thing I want to do is I want to just give these a little notch. It makes folding. If you have a Project Life corner rounder, that always makes a really nice edge too. I don't. And then we are going to remove this piece here. And you know from previous videos, I like to notch my sides. So I'm going to just give this a little trim here. And give this a little trim. It just makes one for an easier fold when you're sealing things up. Just makes things kind of close a little easier. Alright, and now we're going to cut up these score marks. Okay, so essentially you've basically made these additional tabs. Okay, so again, make sure that whichever side you're cutting this big square off is the side that has where you're going to put your adhesive, which is the smaller of the two sides. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and just do a quick fold on all these. Okay, and now we're going to start adding our adhesive. I'm going to use Fast Fuse. You just want to use a really strong adhesive. We used liquid glue in class, which is also is a good product as well. So, but I'm just going to do the Fast Fuse because it's quicker for the video. All right, so now I've just added adhesive on that smaller tab. I'm going to turn it over, fold it so that now I'm flat. I'm going to bring that side seam over. Okay, we're going to give that a rub. There's our box. Okay, now here's our seam. So this is basically the back of our box, which means then that this front flap here is either where we're going to either put adhesive on here or we're going to put it on this piece, because we're going to actually tuck that piece down so that we want all of our raw edges towards the back of the box, which is also where it folds in the back as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add it to this tab, since that's the way I showed it on the diagram. Just make sure that you only get it on the flap and not the tabs. Okay, so now you're just going to open that, put your little tabs in, then this obviously has adhesive, so that's going to go down next, and then you're going to layer the other piece right on the, so it's folding backwards. Okay, so there you go. Now your box is completed. Fold these in. You can also give these tabs a trim if they're a little too long. For me, it just kind of helps keep the lid secured in there. So we'll just fold the lid in. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so there's our box. And it fits A2 size cards with minimal embellishments and layers. You can get probably about 10 cards in here, believe it or not. If you have heavily embellished cards, probably more like 5. It just really depends on how thick your cards are, but it does hold the cards and envelopes. Alright, so now we're going to take our 11-inch, this is 1 inch by 11-inch strip of Whisper White, and I want to start, now I don't want to attach any adhesive on this just yet, and I don't actually want it to stick to the box. You certainly could, because it's not actually holding the box together, so you could seal it down if you didn't really want it to move. But what I'm doing is I just laid this one piece, eyeballed the center, and now I'm gently wrapping it around the box. Okay, and then bringing it back to the front. Now what I'm going to do is I've made some gentle marks on here, and I'm just going to reinforce those. And you don't have to use your bone folder with this one. You can just use your fingers if you want, but I've got it handy, so. Okay, and then we'll do the same with this side. Okay, and then I'm going to add adhesive to one of these pieces, and I'm going to wrap it around the box again, making sure that the adhesive side attaches back to the other side of the Whisper White. Okay, so now our seam is in the middle on the front. We'll take our scallop circle that we punched out, and I'm just going to add 2 dimensionals. Make sure, actually what probably is easier is if you put the dimensionals on the belly band so that you can make sure that you don't attach them to the box. Again, if you want to attach it to your box so it doesn't move, that's fine. There's no purpose of it not sticking, so. And then you just center that up. And there you go. So Again, it's a lot simpler than we made it, and those hopefully were easier instructions to follow. And if you have any questions, let me know. And like I said, if you are interested in having the PDF cut diagram, let me know. I'd be more than happy to email it to you. Alright guys, hope that you liked today's project. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my video updates. And let me know what you thought.